Today's video will be about installing and networking two fish finders on my John boat. I currently have one right now that I have at the bow of the boat. I installed one only up front thinking I fish mostly electric lakes. That'll work whenever the trolling motor is down in the water, which would be all the time. I'll be able to read my graph. And then while I'm running my gas motor, I'll just lift up the trolling motor. I'll be okay. It's just moving from one stop to the other. But after getting in the boat and using it, I realized I really need two graphs. An option would be to install one graph only, but have it located in the middle of the boat. But I really didn't want that because I'm primarily in the front and I just want to be able to look down and fish and cast and hit my spots. The second reason is really twofold. I want to be able to graph while I'm moving from point A to point B, and also from a safety standpoint, you need to know how shallow you're running the boat, what's under the boat, what's around the boat, and the best way to do that is to have a graph. By the time you see something with your eyes, it might be too late depending how fast you're going and so on. So I'm really excited about this mod. I've been looking forward to it. I've been wanting to do it and I waited till off season to do it, and the time is right now. What I did was picked up a second unit, the Helix 7. These are going to be both Gen 3s. I have a Helix 9 at the bow that I use at the front of the boat, and I bought the 7 for the rear of the boat. This is just a control head. The good thing about Helix and other fish finders is they allow you to buy just a control head so that you can save some money and not spend a lot buying the control head and the transducer and everything else. You only need the control head if you're going to run the two graphs using one transducer, and that's how I'm doing it. So to network it, you'll need an Ethernet cable. I bought all Humminbird OEM parts. I want to go with original parts made by the manufacturer. So I've got a 20-foot Ethernet cable right here, and because the connections on the Ethernet cable are different from what's on the back of the fish finder, you have to buy these dongles. What these dongles do is adapts this kind of connection on the Ethernet cable to the type of connection that is on the back of the graph. And unfortunately, that means you got to buy two. One that will connect to this graph and one that will connect to the graph that's right here that I don't have up right now. And don't worry, as always, I will leave everything linked in the description box below so you can check out these exact products for yourself. No more talking, let's get into it. So I've got the main transducer cable run all the way from the rear of the boat all the way up to the front. Now I'm going to run the Ethernet cable along the same path. Now this is definitely a plus of an aluminum boat. You guys can't see, but I've got a little gap. I've got a little L-shaped bracket underneath that I use to secure the deck to the framing, and it's angled that way against the boat. And because this is an aluminum boat, there's just a small little gap for me to get the wire past that angled aluminum, and I'm able to actually push the side of the boat out some. Aluminum flexes, it's a very soft metal, so that's paying off. I don't want to remove this whole hatch lid, so that's why I'm going about it this way, just sliding it, sticking my hands down in here and passing it through. So if you guys want to see exactly how I went about securing the deck to the framing, link at the top of the screen. I walk you exactly through how I secured every part of this deck down. For the most part, I use these special screws right here, which are wood to metal screws, but check that video out, full details, and you can see the L brackets that I install underneath here. All right, so now is a good time for me to actually run the power cords for this second finder. We'll need that. This is for the gimbal mount. Here's the manual. Again, this is just a control head because I'm using the transducer from the Helix 9. This is the 7 version of the 9 I have up front. It's going to be the perfect companion to the fish finder that's already here. They'll network and share data. And whoever's my co-angler, you guys know Bass Brothers, 9 times out of 10, that's my brother. He's going to have a sweet graph all to himself to use at the rear of the boat. So I bought a ram mount for the rear fish finder. I'm gonna go ahead and put that together. Pretty lightweight stuff, I like that. This feels like aluminum also. Again, I'll leave everything linked in the description below. You guys don't have to go looking far to research this stuff for yourself, but very lightweight. This is the gimbal mount. So the mount is pretty much ready to go. I do have to buy some screws for all of this, both the top and bottom. So I'm gonna set this aside for now. Now is a good time to run the power to the rear fish finder. All right, so we got that done. We've got our two cables. This is Ethernet to network the two fish finders together, and this is our power cable. I'm gonna run that also underneath here up to the fuse box where the power is. So the final step right now will be to run the Ethernet cable and the transducer cable to the front graph. And I'm gonna do that the same way that I ran power to the foot control. And that's by drilling a hole through the foot tray, putting a grommet in there to protect the wires, fishing it through from underneath so it'll come up right here, nice and convenient for the graph. I definitely need to unscrew the foot control so that I can get behind it and drill the hole to run the wires through. I will vacuum this out. Look, I got a little tungsten bullet weight right here. Didn't even know that was down there. And some other crap. So I'm gonna vacuum this out. Might as well clean it up while I got it out. So as you can see, I am gonna have to take the tray out because even though I was able to drill a hole, I still need to be able to fish the cables through, and I won't be able to reach far enough under the deck all the way up here and then fish it through. So best thing to do is just take the tray out and make life a little bit easier. All right, we got the wires through. A little bit of a struggle. Those grommets are never fun to do at all. Let's get the power cable back in the quick connect tray. And one cool thing about Humminbird is all of the different cables have a unique shape to it. So you never have to worry about plugging it into the wrong part of the tray or the wrong part of the fish finder. Each one of these plugs have a separate function and a separate shape. So you just match up the shapes so that you know exactly where it's supposed to go in this tray. Good to go. Everything is done up front. I need to put together the ram mount for the rear, install it into the deck, and then I'll be able to connect the fish finders, fire it up, see how everything goes. So I'm going with 1" number 10 screws to mount everything. I'm hoping this is long enough to go through the deck as well. Got the ball on here. I normally paint my screw heads black just to match the profile. I'll probably do that at a later date. Nonetheless, got this part done. That's one really cool thing about this mount is I can rotate this thing 360 degrees. Everything is in, the deck is completely screwed back down, all the connections are made. So it's time to turn these on and I'll show you how to get these connected to each other so you can share waypoints and share the transducer. We've got both units on, front unit and the rear. Just put them on maps. What I want to do is try to share a waypoint just as a quick test between the two units. So I'm just going to hit the mark button, waypoint 084. You guys can see that. And let's see if it shows up back here. Oh, look at that, guys. Awesome. 084 at the rear of the boat. Confirmation the network is working. One thing you have to do is to select the transducer that you want the second unit to use. In some cases, you might have two transducers on one boat. In this case, as you guys know, I'm sharing one transducer for both graphs. So in order to set that up, what you want to do is press menu twice, go to your network tab, which is right there, top right corner, go down to network source setup. Here you have your different options. You have 2D, down imaging, side imaging, and so on. And you just want to make sure, in this case, I only have one transducer on this boat, so it only has one listed. And you just want to check the box, it's already checked, and that's from my Helix 9. All right, down imaging, same thing. Side imaging, same thing, okay? And just keep going through and through. So GPS on chirp as well. Very excited to see that guy right there. That's the game changer. Mission complete. Installation was not that difficult. I did have to pull apart a lot more of the boat that I intended, but in the end, got it done. Got a brand new John boat build coming. Gonna do an enhanced build, a build a little bit different from what I did on my boat. Of course, you learn new things, new techniques, new products. We're gonna feature that in the next John boat build. Stick around for that. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe. hit that notification bell and be a part of that journey as you did for this one. As always, guys, stay safe. We'll see you on the next video.